IP assignment. Now, whenever you go into this week's homepage, you want to click on the assignment tab, and then underneath the assignment for the individual work for, you're going to want to click on the word here, and it's going to open up an Excel spreadsheet. And as you see, the first time there I got an message. So if that happens whenever you're doing it this week, it's not a big problem. You just have to reopen it up. And it's going to open up in a zip folder. And then you can open up the file needed for this week's assignment. Now you'll see there's a lot of things are already formatted here. So you just have to follow the 11 steps that are outlined in the assignment, because the last one you just have to save the document. The first one says in cell B2, enter the current date in the month, day, year format. Example. So find cell B2, and today's date would be March 2nd, 2012. Now you'll notice that the format changes. You want to right mouse click, go to Format Cells, and then under that you're going to want to choose a date. It's in the format example, like this one right here. And that one's going to match the example given in the assignment. It says in E4, change student name to your name. So in cell E4, you want to change the student name to your name. And then use the merge and center command to spread your name over 2 to 3 cells. So in other words, 1, 2, you can use the merge and center, and it merges those so it makes one large cell. Step 3, it says in D4, enter the heading My AIU or My Grades at AIU and format this title in bold, calibrized 16. So in D4, they want My Grades at AIU. And we'll resize it. And again, they're going to want that in bold 16 font. And once you have that, you can delete this first one out because we don't need duplicates. It says in the areas where you see zeros is the data entry area. Enter the grades for both of the courses. It says you can enter your actual grades and make them up. So I'm just going to make some grades up here. And you're going to go through for each one of these and manipulate this data so we can see what the end result's going to be. And again, if you don't want to use the actual grades and you'd rather make this up, I have no issues with that whatsoever. I just have a few more to put in here and we'll be done. Now, where the totals is at, that's where my formulas are going to have to go, in the M column. That's what it says in M11, sum up your grades. And then copy this to M12. So you want to use the auto sum feature, and it's going to sum all these up. And then to copy this, you want to use the fill handle. That's when the fat plus goes to the skinny plus. When you put it down the bottom right hand corner of the cell, left click, hold it, drag it down, release it, and then that way it's going to copy the sum formula down. It says in column N11, compute the percentage. Use a formula or a calculation. Okay, so you're going to want to divide for this part. You're going to want to divide. 1,000 is our total. So if you divide that, and I did it backwards, you want to divide the number you got into the total. Again, we can drag this down. And you see what happens when you try to drag it down? It doesn't work. because it has to be an absolute cell reference here. And to make this an absolute cell reference, before the cell that stays consistent, in other words, right here, M9, both of these numbers get divided by M9. So you don't want M9 to change. So you want to put a $ before the column and the row of the cell that's to remain consistent. Notice we still get the same result, but now whenever I use the fill handle, it gives me the right calculation. And again, we're going to have to format these cells to display as a percentage. So that takes us through field D16 in step 7. So in D16, they want us to compute the total of both of your classes. So in other words, they want to know what the average is going to be here. So for this, you can put in a simple formula by going to Formulas, Insert Function, and then Average. And we want the average of these two cells right here. So the average between the two classes is a 91%.